Toyota has finally brought in the all-new Wigo, and in this video we get to check out the mid-spec Toyota Wigo E CVT. Let's do this. For the second generation, the Toyota Wigo has now grown up. Based on the same DNGA platform of the Toyota Raize, the new Wigo offers a hatchback version of the popular Raize SUV, made especially for young urban professionals who want a fun and sporty city commuter. Despite the platform sharing with the Raize though, the Wigo is still the most affordable vehicle in Toyota's lineup, with this mid-spec Wigo E CVT selling for only 684,000 Philippine pesos. So, can the all-new Wigo offer a greater value than the other contenders? But before we find out, special thanks to Toyota Pasong Tamo for providing the Wigo E to do this car feature. Here at Reagan's Rides, we do car reviews of SUVs, sports cars, trucks, and everything in between. So subscribe and hit the bell. First up, you'll notice that the second-gen Wigo is now bigger, longer, and wider than before. You see, the all-new Wigo is based on the same platform as the Toyota Raize, which explains the overall larger dimensions. Now, despite the fact that this is just the mid-spec Wigo E CVT, we still get full LED headlight units here, as well as a set of LED DRLs on the sides of the front bumper. So now that I have your attention on the front bumper itself, you'll notice that the bumper has a lot of sharp lines and creases here, which gives the Wigo an aggressive and sporty look. Now, if you turn your attention to the front grille, you'll also notice that the grille has been designed to look kind of similar to the front grille of the Toyota Vios. The overall bigger and longer dimensions of the all-new Wigo looks really good for its side profile. You see, the Wigo now looks bigger and bolder than before, despite the fact that it still rides on 14-inch alloy wheels. Now, this mid-spec Wigo E CVT only has manual folding side mirrors here. If you want to have the power folding side mirrors, well, you'll have to pony up for the top spec Wigo G CVT. Now, as for the mechanical bits, well, it's pretty much a carryover from before, which means that we still get disc brakes up front, drum brakes at the back, and for the suspension, we have a MacPherson front suspension and a torsion beam at the back. However, the ground clearance is on the decent side because it has a ground clearance of 160 millimeters. Under the hood, the all-new Wigo gets the same engine from the previous gen, but we get a brand new transmission here. You see, this is still the same 1-liter 3-cylinder gasoline motor that puts out 66 horsepower and 89 Newton meters of torque. However, the power is now sent to the front wheels via a Daihatsu-developed CVT transmission. So now that we have a CVT here versus the previous gen's 4-speed automatic, we can expect that the fuel consumption figures of the second-gen Wigo will be much better than before, but the only way to prove that would be through an actual driving review video. Here inside, the new Wigo gets a cockpit that looks similar to the Toyota Raize. I mean, no surprises here really, since, well, the new Wigo now shares a platform with the Toyota Raize, and it's more cost efficient to do some part sharing between the two models. Now, the Raize-like interior is a huge upgrade over the first-gen Wigo's interior, especially when it comes to the seats. See, we still get fabric seats here, but these, my friends, are thicker and more supportive seats versus the thinner seats that we got in the first gen Wigo. Now, when you look at the steering wheel, well, we get the same configuration and design as the Toyota Raize, but we only make do with a urethane steering wheel here versus the leather-wrapped steering wheel found in the pricier Raize SUV. Now, when you look at the gauge cluster of the Wigo E is only a partial digital display. We don't get the full digital display that can be found in the Toyota Raize, but there's really no complaints there given that this is Toyota's starter car. However, what I love though is the fact that we now get an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system that comes equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, even for this mid-spec E variant. However, if you're looking for a reverse camera, well, you'll have to spring for the top-spec Wigo G in order to get that. Now, as for the safety bits, well, as you're seeing on your screen, well, we do get just the basic passive safety features here. No surprise there, being Toyota's starter car. And if you check out the air conditioning controls, well, you'll see that they are lifted straight from a vehicle that was produced in the 1990s. I mean, they work, but they are like super basic. Now, we also have a manual handbrake here. We also don't get a center armrest. Again, I'm not complaining because, well, this is Toyota's starter car. And as for the cabin materials, well, as expected, we get hard touch plastics all around. Well, because this is Toyota's starter car. What I didn't expect to get though was the ample amount of backseat space that we have here. You see, the Wigo has grown in its overall dimensions, and that includes the wheelbase, which translates to more cabin space. Now, you can fit two really tall people here at the back, and when I say really tall, people who are taller than me, that's 5'6", and they will be very comfortable. We've got ample headroom here and ample knee room, but if you want to keep the comfort levels at a maximum, it's still best to keep the number of passengers on the back seat to 2 people at the most. Now, in terms of toys and amenities, well, what do you expect? We don't really get any toys here. This is Toyota's starter car, and being the mid-spec E-trim, we don't even get speakers here at the back. We only have 2 speakers up front, so that's a bit of a bummer. Yeah, but we do have a tiny squarish cup holder there in the middle where you can park your drinks. The rear end continues on with the sharp lines and angular creases here on the rear bumper, continuing with the theme that we first saw up front. However, we do get one of the biggest upgrades here at the back, and that would be an actual button which helps you to pop open the trunk. I mean, the first-gen Wigo never had that. So now that we have the trunk open, you'll see that we have a slightly bigger space than before, but it is big enough to accommodate my large Sky Travel luggage right here. The all-new Wigo has stepped up once again to provide the features and performance that matter the most to highly mobile young professionals. With a more fuel-efficient CVT transmission, as well as the connectivity that the infotainment system provides, the new Wigo E gives a lot of value. Pair that with a more spacious cabin and a killer price, then it would be safe to say that the Toyota Wigo E CVT will continue to be a top seller for many years. Thanks for watching.